There is or there is not a driver shortage. The following will say there is a major driver shortage. Government, the CDL schools, large mega trucking companies, driverless tractor trailer industry, American Trucking Association, ATA, American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, Commercial Vehicle Training Association. The following will most likely say there's not a driver shortage. Small trucking companies, OOIDA, owner-operators, truckers on that you might see on YouTube or Facebook. OOIDA, Landline magazine, there is not a driver shortage. It's due to drivers' turnovers due to poor wages and a lack of respect. The trucking industry has a retention problem, so they say, and I think they're correct. If there was a driver shortage, wages would increase to attract more drivers to keep them. ATA said wages, the American Trucking Association just recently at Congress said wages are higher. But most would say that was with the smaller trucking company who, due to insurance providers, or was limited to who they could hire. They had to raise their rates up. Not the mega carriers, it's the small companies. And most insurance companies will mandate that you have to have 2 years experience before you can hire these drivers. So when you have to go to an insurance company has a big say about who these smaller companies are going to hire. OOIDA had a research recently. The Bureau of Labor Statistics supported the OOIDA claim of high turnover rates and carriers struggling to retain drivers. It was due to poor wages, poor working condition, a lack of respect. Turnover rates were at mega companies nearly 90% yearly, indicating a retention problem rather than a driver shortage due to their research. Trucking companies are able to hire new drivers, but most struggle to keep them due to low pay and the working condition. CDL schools need students and will always push the narrative that there's a driver shortage. You'll never find a CDL school claiming that there's not. In order for them to stay in business, it must be a severe driver shortage, and they'll push that narrative. Government grants, scholarships, in order to receive the money that is mega companies and CDL schools, there must be a driver shortage. The mega carriers in most CDL schools receive millions from the government, grants, scholarships, etc. And since they have a yearly 90% turnover rate due to the low pay and poor working condition, lack of respect, the term driver shortage is a must. They need the government funds and to replace the yearly 90% of the drivers that will quit that particular mega company. Just recently, there has a bill that's in the House in 2025. It's called the Truck Driver Incentive Act. The bill has not passed yet, but yet CDL schools are already using this to try to recruit new students to their schools. And it'll be a tax break maybe up to $10,000 if it passes. It's a motivation, something to motivate new drivers coming into the school to help with the driver shortage. And the time period is only for the 2025-2026 tax years. The entry-level driver training program took years to get started and was, in my opinion, was a really good program, a solid start. But even before this program even started, they was working on a new program, the modernization program. So the new program maybe was initiated by the Biden-Harris Trucking Action Plan. So, and I feel severely weakened the entry-level driver training program, which once again has never been enforced by the FMCSA. So, administrator with the program, when it was putting the Trucking Action Program in, his words are, "We are working to cut the red tape so make it easier for drivers to get a CDL." So the entry-level driver training program was making it difficult. You got to cut the red tape, make it easier to fast-track new CDL drivers into trucks due to the driver shortage, per someone at the administration. And then the modernization testing program project came in right on the heels of that in the 2022, 2023 years. So once again, in my opinion, the training of new CDL students took a big step backwards because the government wanted to speed up the training of new truckers to make sure CDL schools, not to make sure the CDL schools are providing quality training. It was the big push, but the quality training, that could take a back seat because we have a big driver shortage. Yes, many CDL schools benefited from government grants, but has the rate of accidents, has it been going up lately due to inexperienced driver receiving poor training? The lack of road training on public roads by CDL schools. Some of them only get 5 or 6 hours, and then they're ready for their test. They just know enough to pass the test, and they wind up in a disadvantage when they go into a trucking job with a mega carrier. They might not make it. How many new inexperienced drivers have received poor training at their first CDL trucking job? So even though they get in, unfortunately, we got a problem there too, because they're not receiving, they being pushed in and not receiving the quality training because they have, the driver trainers are not qualified. I have seen where I work, driver trainers couldn't even back it into the dock, and they out there trying to train a new CDL driver. No wonder why we have a high turnover. So how many students who received a CDL in 2024 are going to quit by the end of 2025, which is coming up soon? So it's time to fix the broken CDL system. It's now the time. CDL schools and trucking companies, how many are going to quit? Are they taking advantage of the new and current CDL drivers just because it's a driver shortage? So what do you think? Are the new inexperienced drivers that are on the roads right now, have they suffered because the CDL training system at CDL schools has been severely handicapped by this rush, get them in, get them out, and the FMCSA zero enforcement of their rules? It's kind of to me like a big joke, and someone needs to fix it now.